Sullivan. I'm so delighted and honored to be here to open for Shanna and to perform in this beautiful space. And I'm so glad you're all wearing masks. I think that's great. Thank you. I was wishing, however, that we all had some kind of like paddle system like they do in auction houses, so that when you're having an emotional response to one of the songs, you could like hold it up to be like, delight, surprise, pathos. But for now, we'll have to emote with our eyes. So I'm going to jump right into my next song, which I wrote for my grandmother, who's one of my idols. She was also a musician, and when she was a young woman, she escaped the Midwest and ran off to New York City, where she sang in USO clubs during World War II, and lived in a ladies' hotel and struck out for stardom, and actually got cast in the original Broadway production of Oklahoma, but left before the show opened to marry my grandfather. And ended up having a very happy and fulfilling life together. But I always wondered what it must have been like for her to be living as a young singleton in New York City in the 1940s and meeting Rodgers and Hammerstein. And of course, it never occurred to me to ask her any of those questions until it was too late. So this song is that list of questions. How'd it feel to be the daughter late in life of a mother who was sure she didn't want to be a wife? What'd you say to your Irish-eyed dad, who always seemed so silent and sad? What was it like to know you could sing and know that was the most important thing? What courage was the chords on the piano? And how'd it feel to board that train, your hands against the window pane? Say goodbye to Gary, Indiana. How'd it feel to stand on that stage, light in your eyes, your hands shaking on the page, your voice maybe trembling with all you could feel, and those men in the dark saying your dreams are real? What'd you think when that boy sauntered in and undid you with his lazy grin? You could almost hear your mother sigh with pity. What'd you say when you turned in your keys to your tiny room and your melodies and said goodbye to dreams of New York City? How'd it feel to have a love so vast that you almost didn't mind what you left in the past? What'd you say each time you wanted to move and left you in a new place with something to prove? Did you give your all at a talent show, or blow the back walls out in another church solo, exhausted by the effort of believing? And in each new room, what did you put on the shelf to remind you that you were still yourself, despite all the places you were leaving? Told you all the dreams of playing in a band. What was the advice that died on your lips as the songs poured out of her fingertips? How'd you know that the best you could do was to tell her that she had to see it through? While inside your mind was teeming with the stories of a girl who felt like she was still 19 when her eyes were blue and her slate was clean, sitting on a train from dreaming of future glories. Man, I wish I thought to ask you for your stories. How I wish I'd asked you for your stories. right, so as Steve said, I wrote and performed a lot in my 20s, and then after that, not so much. And then in 2018, I realized how much I missed it, and I got back in the pool. And this spring, my new album, We Can Hear Each Other, came out, and this is one of the songs on that album. And I actually had to do a little etymological research. Was it etymological research when I wrote the song. So I'll test you. Do you guys know what the long wooden slats that separate window panes are called? Anybody? Yes! I knew the Wayland public schools were good. Yes, I was shocked. Yeah, so I had to look that up, and I needed it for this song. So there you go. Now you know what mullions are. It's not called mullions, though. It's called Fireflies. Can you hear it? Okay. Doesn't need to be that much louder. I'm not actually very good at this. One summer evening, I went out walking. The breeze was breezy, the moon was bright. And out of nowhere, between the treesies, a fairy pinprick, a flash of light. Despite my wishing for that light to stay, those fireflies just faded away. I learned you can't stare at fireflies, you'll miss their spark. Sometimes a sideways glance works better in the dark. You know you gotta grab at happiness, but still I think you'll find that life's best moments sometimes sneak up from behind. December morning, a winter window, the so reflected, a sky so blue, the silver crystals between my mullions, a frozen gamble, a millionaire's view. And though I'd like to keep this art till June, I know it will be gone by noon. I learned you can't ask the sun to never melt the frost. Sometimes the beauty's in the moment lost. You know you gotta grab at happiness, but still I think you'll find that life's best moments sometimes sneak up from behind. The color of the autumn leaves will fade. You'll lose that spiky jolt from that cup of coffee you made. Linen will crinkle, your face will wrinkle. Remember, life is sweet, 'cause it's gone in a heartbeat. I am a mother. The kids are awesome. They think I'm cheesy. That's alright. Being a mother is not so easy. The awkward silence, the pop-up fight, but then there's moments of unbridled grace. Adulthood in your baby's face. I learned you can't force your kids to say they love you so. Sometimes a speedy hug's enough to know. You know you gotta grab at happiness, but still I think you'll find that life's best moments sometimes sneak up from behind. Just like my husband, life's best moments sometimes sneak up from behind. We're time traveling for the song. Travel with me, if you will. Back to 1991. It's the summer I graduated from college. That was a terrible summer. You know, it's like all those transitions. You miss your friends. You're a baby adult. And it also happened to be the summer that my grandparents, who lived in the same town where I was going to college, were packing up their home and moving to a retirement facility. So, an interesting summer, and this is a 100% true story. One time I stole a book, I'll tell you why. happened on a warm day in July. I was working one more summer in my tiny college town. The heat curled up my posters and the quiet pulled me down. They said the world would be my oyster when they gave me my degree. I disagreed, didn't know what I'd need. Meanwhile, in the same town round the bend, another era wound down to its end. The couple sealed the boxes, going to Goodwill. The rest of their possessions moving with them down the hill. He said, my steps have grown unsteady and your memory's breaking free. She disagreed. She didn't know what she'd need. No, how do you know if it's an ending? Oh, or a spark. Oh, give us grace to know the signposts and the marks. Pete and Dottie met before the war. Together they dreamed big and wanted more. Their home became a shrine to all the wonders they would see. Fertile ground for dreamers and for grandkids, that was me. I said to them, you must have known that you were meant to be. They disagreed. Hadn't known what they'd need. No, how do you know if it's an ending? Oh, or a spark. Oh, give us grace to know the signposts and the marks. So that day when I felt sorry for myself, I found a thrift shop and my eye fell on an old blue book upon the shelf. I opened up the cover and in writing small and neat, it said December 1940, from your Dottie to my Pete. And though the $2 on the flyleaf was a reasonable fee, I disagreed. For once I knew what I'd need. No, how do you know if it's an ending? Oh, or a spark. Oh, give us grace to know the signposts and the marks. The signposts and the marks. One time I stole a book, I'll tell you